Hello everyone, welcome to the Mecanique Sportive YouTube channel. This is Nicola. Today, I'm introducing the new Citroën Ami to you. Anyway, you already saw the previous version. There were more than 200,000 of you and over 1 million on some networks. After following my adventures with the first version, I've been invited by Citroën to Le Touquet to try out this new restyled version. We'll talk about the little details again. Let's go over everything once more. I'll provide the car's specs again, including mileage, top speed, acceleration, braking, and handling on roundabouts. Let's see what this little car is really like for everyone. Honestly, pretty much everyone from 14 years old and up. Whether you have a license or not, you can drive this little car from the age of 14. With the road safety certificate, and that allows you to drive a car. I would have loved having this as a kid. This is the new version. Check it out. It's starting. So, the first thing to know is that it will be available in 2 main versions. The Citroën Ami, just like this, standard with the doors, the glass roof on this side, basically the Ami. They released a buggy version in 2023 that I tried. It was really fun and super cool. A lot nicer for places where it's warm and sunny, not like here in the north of France, where I have to admit it's a bit cold. Right now, we're in Le Touquet. And another thing, the Citroën Ami is a car that sells a lot in the north of France. It's actually where it sells the most. The Nord region, yeah, pretty impressive. Hauts-de-France area sells it a lot, but it's found pretty much everywhere, in front of high schools, middle schools, etc. And I think it's great because for parents, it keeps the kids safe. And for the kids who are trying to convince their parents, you keep them safe, and then you're warm, and so on. Compared to a scooter or two-wheeler, which are more dangerous, a four-wheeled vehicle is safer. When it rains, you'll get sick less often, reducing doctor visits. You can invite friends, or if you have a brother or a sister, you can switch. You can drive together. Having siblings is cool as it gives you good excuses, like having to pick up your brother or sister. There are plenty of ideas for that. My goal isn't to sell it, just to let you try it. Honestly, it worked pretty well and is really cool. Over 80,000 units sold. From what I hear, it's a pretty good little car. Standard version, or buggy version, which now is no longer a limited edition, since the first buggy version was an ultra-limited series. There were few of them, but it was very enjoyable. Now you can choose. Here, let me show you once more. Finally, a brief glance at the buggy version. In terms of dimensions, it's really very small. It's 2 meters 41 long, 2 meters 41. That's really not much for a car. 1 meter 39 wide and 1 meter 52 high. But look, 1 meter 39, I can hug it. It's really tiny. By the way, I didn't mention it, but it's a 100% electric car. The batteries are under the floor, and there's a small front-wheel drive motor here. We still have disc brakes on this car, and we have 14-inch wheels. As you can see, by the way, with new hubcaps that you can recognize right here. When you order it, you get a pack of stickers that arrives, and it's up to you to put the stickers on. For example, what you see here as well, it'll be up to you to do it. The hubcaps also arrive in a box, and it's up to you to put them on yourself. It's a fun little activity. I think it's pretty cool. You'll also find all the bins included in this pack, which you'll assemble yourself. But actually, it's always a nice little thing to do. But well, there are people who would have preferred it to be completely finished at Citroën. And there are others who say, well, no, it's cool to do it yourself too. What do you prefer? Would you have preferred Citroën to deliver it already completely finished when you select it from a catalogue, or do you like finishing it yourself? Prices start at €2 to 7,190. Colour packs are available for an additional cost. With the green pack, there's a yellow pack. There's also an orange pack, and the same goes for the buggy versions. It would cost about 8,390, but there are also interesting leasing options. In terms of features, it's a bit more technical. We have a battery of 5.4 kilowatt hours net. That's 6.3 kilowatt hours. For charging, we charge on a standard outlet, a 1.8 kilowatt outlet. It uses about 1,800 watts when plugged in, similar to a small auxiliary oven. When you plug it in, it takes about 4 hours to fully charge to 100%. The technical specifications reveal an unbeatable turning diameter between curbs of 7.2 meters. I don't think there's any car that does as well unless it's a bicycle. Anyway, that's really great. I'll show them to you soon. The weight is only 483 kilos and 470 kilos for the buggy version, which doesn't have full doors like this and doesn't have this glassed part over the water. You save nearly 15 clear, which makes a small difference in the power-to-weight ratio. A maximum speed of 45 kilometers per hour. And in your opinion, how long does it take to go from 0 to 45 kilometers per hour? Any idea? 11 seconds. 11 seconds, that's enough. Actually, you'll see in a moment, I'm going to test it on a small road. It's not 0 to 100, but it's 0 to 45. As for the claimed range, it's rated for 75 kilometers, and that's really from 100% to 0. If you make it to 75 kilometers, the car stops, and you'll have to push it, so you'll actually get between 60 and 65 the kilometer, to always keep a little battery reserve, of course. Well, in the front, this little box has evolved. Will you immediately notice the small changes? The main changes are the front and rear bumpers, because you know on the Ami it's symmetrical. The front and rear are exactly the same on this whole section, just like the side windows also, these windows right here. They made sure to raise the lights, so now the lights are surrounded in black, and the turn signals that have come down right there, that's to give it a certain look. If you look closely, you'll see it resembles a face, a little bit cartoonish, with the eyes and this mouth shape here, which is smiling. Am I doing it well or not? The new Citroën logo, which has been added right in the center, so it's a little bigger than before. And the Ami, which is directly integrated into the bodywork, really molded directly with this mold. So, you can see it here, a small windshield wiper right there, with windshield washer fluid as well. As per regulations, our vehicle has a real windshield with a glass section at the top that must be kept clean. That hasn't changed on this version. What else has changed at the front? Well, that's about it. These parts slightly reinforce the look of having 4 wheels at each corner. So, what do you think? Did you prefer the old one or this one? On the side, you can see that it's really very, very compact. And you can fit 2 people inside. That's a real advantage. So it's very, very compact. You can see the wheels at all 4 corners. So that gives you the maximum amount of space when you're inside. 14-inch wheels, disc brakes in the front, and drum brakes in the back. Here, it's well hidden with this hubcap. We have tubeless tires right here. It's not like a tiny thing. These are really tubeless tires that you find on this car. We have round side mirrors here, and the windows open like on a two-door Chivo. So, I think this is one of the cool little things you can find on this car. So when you're driving with the windows open, because when it's all the way up, you can really put it parallel, right up against the window. So it really puts it vertical compared to the ground. Then you can close it if and when it's really all the way up. It feels like it's a little thing that's kind of magnetized. And actually, it's just that it clips in with the little balls here, which keeps it from falling down like this. For example, when it's windy, you can just close it right here. The police here have one of the Tucsons. The police in Le Touquet. They're good, you know. Little reflectors here, which they'll use as well. When the door is open, people can see that it's open, in case others are coming from the other side, on the level of these doors. So here, as I said, it's closed on this version. This is the little colour pack that you can add yourself when you get the car delivered. And a little thing to know is that the doors on this side, like this side, will be towards the front and will open on this side. These same doors have been reversed. However, the roof is specific. You can see that here. It goes up, and that's how you can tell the front from the back of a car. There are mirrors, and this part is raised slightly to position it more towards the front. Different shock absorbers are used at the front and back because we sit at a certain level, which affects the vehicle's weight distribution. Ooh, it goes down, and it rebalances the car. Same thing. That's one of the stickers we can put on. Maybe we'll make a little explanatory video about it with Citroën. I'm trying to negotiate that, and a quick 3/4 rear shot with this car. So, if you cut here, it's exactly the same part as in the front, except, instead of white, they put red. Here I have my interior as well, and it could be the front or the back. Well, you can recognize the back because, well, we have this prominent part that sticks out here. You can have a spoiler on the buggy versions. And then, so this rear window here, something pretty simple. What's great is that since we're sitting with our heads just about here, when you look back, you can immediately see what's going on. Well, unfortunately, since the front and the back are the same, there's no trunk, so you'll have to store everything you have directly inside the vehicle. I'll show you that in a moment. The Citroën logo. Here, the little friend has it too. It's really just like the front or the back. The only difference is this upper part here. And it would have the plates like this. Well, if I covered this, front or back, it's pretty much the same, right? Yeah, and look, I'll take you around the car like this, so we can get a better look at it. And it's true that I think as soon as there's a bit of dynamism and you see something moving, it helps you get a better sense of the shapes and everything else. Honestly, look at it, with its little wheel arches and everything with the light contrasts. Well, it has a bit of a nice vibe to it. I think the old one was maybe a little more rounded, but this one, it has more shape. It stands out a bit more, and you can really see that the back really looks like the front. It's about rolling it from the back, and it's the same. If I'm not mistaken, the windows, I think they're almost the same. I think they use the same 4 everywhere. And the door, as I was saying, this one opens from the other side. So when I press here, there you go. I open it this way. So, the driver's side. What's great is that we have large storage spaces directly in the doors, which we won't have on the Ami buggy version. And the window opening. So, I press here, and then I lift up, and with the little balls, as I was saying, they fit directly into the holes here. So, for example, I lift it up and snap, it locks into place. At that point, the part is firmly locked in place, although not screwed in, and that makes sure it doesn't move. Inside, there's a tab to pull. We choose and have the green pack, which is also part of it. Maybe even some accessories to assemble yourself, just like the green protective mats, since it's the green colour pack. We have 2 seats, and the advantage of the driver's seat is that it's adjustable forward. You can see, like on all cars, the rail here, so you can move it forward and backward. The passenger seat, on the other hand, will be fixed and won't move. When I come to sit inside, yes, and a little thing to know, look now, there's a bit of storage space. Here in the back, right behind the driver's seat, you can store a little bit. If you move the seat forward from the driver's side, you can store a few small things. There we go, and now I'm behind the wheel. Alright, what am I going to do? Should I change the lens? If I put on a wide-angle lens, it'll give a better view. This time, I'm coming back with a wide-angle lens, and you'll see, it'll be nicer. So, I pull my handle here, and then to open the door, it's this strap here that unlocks it, and I move it forward, like this. I'm going to remove it. Right. Since it's reversed, I don't have the strap there. I have it here. Next, he'll open the door like this, so I pull this way. That's quite original. I'm stepping all the way back. And here's what it looks like when you're driving an Ami. Look. And this point of view is really very interesting. I start the car is ready, so this way it's off. I turn the key. So we just have one key, a really standard one with Citroën written on it. I just inserted it here, hop, with the ignition. Okay, now we have all the indicators just like a car, and I start it. And as soon as you hear the beep, it means it's ready. It even says ready right here. That's the view I have. So the little window, that's great. It's really clear, even when it's up, and I can lower it back down and close it. You can still see the parts of the roof frame. So those are the bars directly part of the frame. You can really see the entire reinforcement frame there, a bit everywhere as well, around the welds and so on. Just at the back, it's different. We have the seatbelt mounts there, for example, on these reinforced parts. The seats. So 2 seats made entirely of plastic, with the little plastic headrests. We just have small padded parts here, at the back and on the seat, so it's very minimal. It's not the most comfortable, but since it's not for long trips like Paris to Marseille, it won't be an issue. A small space to get through, to grab something, and as I was saying, we have a little space in the back to store bags or other things. We have nets on both sides of the car, so on the left and on the right. So on this side, the driver's left. And over there as well, we have this spot where you can put a carry-on suitcase. Yeah, so I have my big hiking backpack that fits when I remove. You can see that here. We even have the little logo. Right there. I can put it here. And I also have something here with the net, so it doesn't come onto my gas pedal. And I also have a little thing for handbags, or a small school bag and so on. I'll attach it there. This pack is also included. You can attach your speaker there. All of that. And this is slightly flexible plastic. And here you can see. Here we have a small storage space for your papers and other items. On this side, you can place your smartphone or whatever you prefer. And the Lego style, that's more for the look. But you can still have a small storage bin right here. Here, we still have the defogger at the front in case it's cold in the winter and so on, with the defogger that you can find here. So that means with the heater, I press. I think you can't hear it. Hopey. The ventilation system provides cold air when I press the button. Turning on defogging is also an option. This one will be heating as well. A USB port here to charge your phone. And this is the gear shift, so drive is to go forward, neutral is to put it into neutral, and reverse is right here. Next, there's a real handbrake. In neutral, pulling the handbrake puts you in parking mode. There's no parking mode directly on the engine. It's done this way to keep things as simple as possible. And this is the phone holder that you can put right here, just like that. So, I've got my phone, and they thought of adding a little hole underneath, so the cable can go through from below. I can slide a cable down all the way to the bottom, so I can put my phone there and set it down once it's in place. There you go. So you can see it's set up this way. My screen with just the necessary information. The battery. The car is brand new with only 68 kilometers on the speedometer. How many more kilometers can I drive it? To check if I'm in neutral, switch to drive with foot on the brake. Then switch to reverse with foot on the brake and reverse. And did you hear? It has its own little specific beep. So neutral to put it back to a stop. That's what it looks like. The steering wheel is like this, so there's a little flat part at the bottom. Despite lacking power steering, it's easy to maneuver, even when stopped. The new Citroën logo is also prominently featured here, setting it apart. Next, on this side, we have the windshield wipers. So here I can set it to the intermediate mode, which means from time to time. Or you could say intermittent. There's only a slow speed setting, but no fast speed. It can't go any faster than the slow speed. And then, if I pull, I have on my windshield wiper, directly on the wiper itself. Almost like on luxury cars, the nozzle for the windshield washer fluid. So, that's how it appears, with a large glass roof visible on top and a plastic section above my head. So there you go. So here, Nicholas, in this car, what do you think about this little Citroën Ami, this new version? Well, inside you can see that there isn't a lot of change. It seems to me that before it was just here. The fact that it's on the dashboard now, I find that much more convenient. The brake, we still have enough space to put a small passenger. Anyway, let's go try out this car, see how it performs on the road, and see if we still have as much fun. All right, here we go. Let's go. And since I have a friend Buggy right here, I'll introduce it to you quickly. A specific detail is that we have this with our friend Buggy here. They named it Andy, after Andre Citroen, the original creator. We still have the little pouch here on the steering wheel. It's doors, so you can put tarps instead of these if it rains, and the sunroof. This time, it's much more practical, so you can use Velcro and things like that, and inside, there's a little zipper that lets you open it, and then roll it up to here. Inside, the seats are the same, and we have color packs. The handbrake is the same. All of that. Then, back then, the new thing about the buggy was having the controls right here. A little thing is that we have the buggy on this side and the golden rims. It also has the same style as the regular versions. But this one, on the other hand, has its own little spoiler, which you could even add on here if you want, if you have the ability. So here, I have my version right here that I'm showing you, so you can see the differences. On the outside, that's it, but it's mainly the doors that are different, and a few little stickers as well. We don't have them here, but we do over there. Those are some main differences. Then there are little grooves on this side. The dashboard and everything else remain unchanged in the buggy version, which offers some unique features. I still find it a bit more fun than this version, which seems a little more classic. Also, you can see it in the color of the logo. So, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, all the buggies are like that. So are they really all the same color? And you find the same bumpers. It's really just the sides and the top that are different. Guys, let's go aboard this little Ami. I'm going to close my little window here that always makes me laugh a lot, and my little steering wheel. There we go. So now we have the P, our drive right here. And for parking, it's just this handbrake. You just have to remember to put it back in neutral right away. Well, the really cool thing about this car is mainly how easy it is to handle. Now, I switched to drive. If I'm not mistaken, I had to turn the key all the way. So this time drive. And now, we're off. Flashing the headlights. Oh no, that's not flashing the headlights. Hello, have a good day. So, here we go with my girlfriend. And right here, we're also with a small group of young people to have fun. Some chose the buggy version. I preferred this closed version, because today, in Le Touquet, it's still pretty chilly. Ooh, here we go. Actually, clearly, my friend, it's still the most fun car out there when it comes to small cars like this. So, with this little opening here, you have to lift it like this. There you go, the brake pedal. My little ticket, because I have a small glove box right here. There you go, so you don't lose your ticket. Click, click. And I close it, because today, like I was saying, there's a lot of wind. The coolest thing is that here, for example, I have a mini roundabout. And look, the first thing I can do, but before that, is turn on my blinker. Of course, we follow the rules of the road and go around this little roundabout. And as you can see, I go around it very easily. So it's really the most practical car to drive in the city. It's tiny. Look, there are many people here and a car is coming. but I know it will fit. Look, actually, I'm not bothering anyone, and I can really squeeze in anywhere. So that's it. When you're young, you have this advantage of being able to have this super practical little car, and above all, to stay warm. I would have been on a scooter today, but I admit I would have been just a little disappointed. Maybe let me put the mic a little higher here for you. Can you hear me well? Don't move. That way it won't be too low. So, the advantages of this Ami are that it's small, and that we're warm. So, on the other hand, it's a good thing it's not super sunny today, because otherwise it gets really hot inside the cabin. You can see that we have this glass section. Just in case, a little tip from me. Buy yourself an ultraviolet film. This can help reduce the heat inside your car and make it a bit more comfortable. I'm driving at 20 to 25 mph, and I honestly don't feel like going any faster in this car. There we go. Turn signal. I'm turning. And actually, I don't feel the need to say to myself, hey, I want to. I don't have to drive at 45, because actually at 25, I'm comfortable. I'm just cruising. There's a bit of sound and so on. You can hear the engines and everything. It's still pretty firm. But well, it's not a car made to go 150 on the highway or anything like that. We have seats with a little bit of padding, and a little bit on the backrest too. But it's still pretty hard. But, like I said, at least you're in a protected car. You have a little cocoon. You can put on your little portable speaker, music, and so on. So here I am in Le Touquet, a place I'm completely unfamiliar with, and I'm about to explore it on foot. It's the first time I've come here, and I'm still going to try to avoid that. The brake pedal is pretty stiff, so when you go to brake, you have to press down quite hard. On the other hand, you get a good feel and it brakes pretty well. In roundabouts, you can see that even if I'm driving pretty fast, it handles the road quite well. But actually, I'm mostly going to be limited by the seat, which makes me slide over pretty quickly. So I won't necessarily want to drive too fast in roundabouts, because otherwise it's going to get a little more complicated to hold on to the car. And once I go faster, like that, the car, there's no electronic stability program or anything like that. It still holds up well. Test it in all conditions. You know me. Let's go full speed here and go through there. And it's pretty interesting. Its handling remains very good. You can drive quite dynamically like this without going fast, because actually it feels like you're going fast even if you're not going very fast. And actually, I think for a young person it's pretty cool. And even for a big kid like me, Nicholas, 35 years old, I find it pretty fun and quite practical. Another practical thing. Wait, I haven't tried to find this yet. Over there, for example, so it's going to be a Christian's place, but I'll just show you for the demo. Here. A small spot. I turn on my blinker. No, actually, it's not really a spot. I look all around me. I have a real view. 360. That. The sound changes a little when I put it in gear. And what's nice is that I can see right away, and I turn, I steer. And honestly, really, in some places, I could almost park like this, but that's not the point here. Drive, hop. It steers so well in reverse. And I know exactly where to stop. Since I'll see it like this, space was barely enough for a small car. But that's the practical side of life. All right, here we go. Let's get going again. Remember to use turn signals when driving, even without a license. Always follow proper road etiquette. It'll help you get used to driving properly, even for young people getting their license, which will be useful later on. It's actually pretty good. And as you can see, up until now, even in the city, downtown, I haven't even needed to say to myself, hey, I'm going to go up to 45 kilometers per hour. But do you know me? For channel regulars, we'll attempt the top speed. The strong winds now might give us a tailwind to really go fast. Of course, we pay attention, right-of-way rules, and so on. All right, I'm accelerating a little faster. It's running a bit smoother. Here, I'm reaching 40, and now I'm immediately at 45, and I can feel it's being limited. I already have to brake. And to the right. For real, it's still much nicer to have this kind of vehicle to get around, especially when you're young. The advantage is that two people can ride together. It can be handy for running a quick errand downtown, and so on. As an electric car, it often offers benefits like free parking and other small advantages. Honestly, I think it's pretty cool, even for adults. If we're hot, I press here. Open it a little bit. There. Big speed bump. When stopped, the car is silent without any vibrations or unusual noises. It's pretty cool, with a bit of music. It's quite nice. It's really small. It slips through everywhere. It's still very practical. And there's even a bit of suspension that gives you a minimum of comfort. And above all, the practical side is that you can go everywhere with it. It's light, it's convenient. You'll get about 60 kilometers on a full tank. You can go a little further, depending on the conditions. But it really lets you get around every day at a low cost. If you don't have a license, driving without one is practical, as it saves you from taking public transportation. Actually, there are, what do you call them, rentals? That are pretty interesting. Back then, there were Rosalie cars like that, and now there are the little Ami buggies. Actually, it would be pretty interesting. And without making any effort, we do a lot less exercise than before. Personally, I prefer if we take a bike. It still gives a good push. It accelerates well. Hop, hop, hop there. And here, I accelerate again at full speed with the wind. The small window, it still lets me put my arm outside. It's pretty chill. And now I'm at 45, my maximum speed. At 45, there's some noticeable engine noise, but it's not bothersome. And now, as soon as the road is a bit smoother, I can close my window here. What's that? I didn't know that kind of car. 45 kilometers. For the city, that's more than enough. So, actually, if you have to go from village to village on small roads at 80, it might take a little longer. We'll see time pass by a little more. But as long as you stay in the city, like this, in an urban area, you don't really feel it that much, because there's still scenery passing by. And honestly, it does the job more than well enough. Highway A16. No, we're not doing that, or going all the way over there. I like it. I don't know about you, but personally, I think it's super fun. Especially with all this space. It feels like we're driving a big minivan with the windshield being so far away. It's quite amusing. Plus, we still have this big sunroof. So, it's a shame we don't have anything to block the sun, in case we're in direct sunlight. There are likely several accessories that can be placed in the small clips provided. What do you think about this Citroën Ami? By the way, feel free to write your age in the comments. I find that really interesting. To know whether you are the parents who are going to buy this car for your kids, or if you're one of the kids who are going to show this car to your parents. To tell them, no, but Dad, Mom, look, it's so cool. Nico is showing it to you. Honestly, when I was 14, I would have dreamed of having this. So, when you get to high school or middle school, well, I don't remember how old you are in middle school. I think I started high school at 14. Because I was supposed to take my baccalaureate around 17. It was 3 years. I think the baccalaureate and all that has changed. Also, I have a baccalaureate in industrial science and technology, mechanical engineering. I think that doesn't exist anymore. And I would have dreamed of having that. I had a friend who was lucky to have a car you could drive without a license. But in my whole high school, only one person had such a car back then. Just imagine. It was crazy to have something like that. And it was because his dad had a lot of money. And it was extremely expensive, whereas now it's become much more affordable. And I won't lie to you, it's still a real bonus to be able to walk around in there. It also allows, if the parents say, oh well, I'm going to run an errand. Do you want to come home a little later in the evening or something like that? You're still safer. And you have your own little personal vehicle. And then if I had that, I admit I would have gone on dates, and that would have been crazy. And then it was classy. You know, like I'm taking you as a friend. Well, actually, I had a Derby back then. I was lucky enough to have a Derby GPR Racing. I don't know if that still exists. It was the wildest 50cc geared bike with the exhaust situated beneath the seat. I was so happy. I have to admit, I still preferred my Derby, mainly because you could de-restrict it, and I was hitting 107 kilometers per hour. Yeah, at 15, it was crazy. This one is limited to 45. We won't be able to go any faster. Maybe we can hit 50, 51, going downhill. But at least I'm warm. I've got music. I have to admit, it's pretty great. But we can't avoid the traffic jams. In big cities and large urban areas, scooters can weave through traffic, providing a small advantage. The advantage of this one is that you can really use it all year round, in winter and so on. When it's cold, you can go shopping. You can store a few things. There's space for your feet here. Anyway, it really makes a difference. Okay, so about the global positioning system, I need to set the global positioning system up here again. I admit, I got completely lost. I just went wherever I felt like going. Ah, we're starting to get a few rays of sunshine. By the way, for those of you watching this video, feel free to tell me your age and where you are in France, because I know there are regions where the Ami sells a lot. A Mehari, that's great too. You still needed a license back then. And the region in France where Citroën sold the most was often the northern region. I think maybe that's why they put us here. And then, look, even for these little roundabouts, it's so funny. We can't drift. It would have been fun, but we still have a handbrake. That's also the funny little side of this car. You can have a bit of fun. There's still a little fun aspect to it. Well, I'm not supposed to say that for parents and kids, but honestly, you can always have a little fun. You have to go on dirt roads. But there are ways too. That can be the fun little side. Well, you know the channel, and what's great is that I can really do this anywhere. We'll do a 0 to 45. Start from a stop instead of the typical 0 to 100. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It takes off nicely. 15, 16, 21, 25, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 40, 41, 43, 44, 45. And here, this is going to be at 45. It's going pretty well. You can see that it's still quite responsive. If there's no one behind me, I'm going to brake hard. It's 46 months. 46! We're here. There's a roundabout. We're going to do a hard brake at the roundabout. There's no one behind. So from 45 to 0. Here we go. Crosswalk. It stops really fast. And even then, I didn't do it all the way. The hardest braking I could do. I think I could have done better. Don't move. We're going to go over there. There's a little area where there's nobody here. And we'll do it again. Yeah, I accelerated fully to 45. I'm going to do a 45 to 0, really. Emergency braking on dry pavement. So there's no ABS on this car. But you can feel that here at least, as long as it's not wet. It still brakes pretty well, and I feel quite safe. When I slam on the brakes hard, my speed drops to 45. For instance, there's a stop sign here. There you go. So we stop. But since we're not going very fast, we're at 45. You can feel that it locks the wheels a little bit. No ABS, no electronic stability program, etc. Just be careful in the rain. But otherwise, for almost all conditions, it's very good. Since it's light, well, it does the job perfectly. The seat is quite firm. Well, I admit that often, when you're young, you're not very big, not necessarily very, very tall. Even though young people nowadays are starting to be as tall as basketball players, it's a little bit firm here. And if you're bigger than me, I admit you might stick out a little bit. Wow, it's really, really beautiful here. I don't know. No, it's not the sea yet here. Just a little patch of greenery in Le Touquet. Really nice. You can actually see some young people in front of the old model, and that one sold pretty well too. Over 80,000 units of the Citroën Ami. And clearly, it's honestly a really good car. And in double snap, and it goes through. Yahoo! Honestly, I think it's the most fun car on the market. So we don't have the comfort of some cars, now that they've almost become luxury microcars. We have air conditioning. We really have all the options. Screens with global positioning system, built-in CarPlay, Android Auto, and so on. They wanted to keep it pretty basic and simple, and honestly, for me, that's actually not bad at all. It does the job very well. Really, we don't need more. If you want more, there are other car brands that offer it. I have to admit, I've never done it, but I see them quite often at shows and so on. Feel free to let me know if you're interested. But for me, this one is the one that's the most fun and everything. Also, in the same group, there's the Fiat Topolino that's coming out, and there's the Rock, I think. That's Opel, but I'm not sure if we'll have it in France. I know that in Germany, they sell a lot because Opel is originally a German brand. But the Topolino also looks nice. I'll make another video for you about the Ami buggy, because the buggy version is also really, really cool. We can't go all the way to the end here. It's telling me that it's at the end over there. We'll probably have to park here, I guess. But again, well, parking is still pretty easy. It's really small and really cute. But there you go. License-free cars are interesting for adults who lose their license or who didn't want to get one. And for young people, to be able to have a car without a license, starting at a very young age, from 14 years old. I must admit, that's quite impressive. Anyway, I've reached the end. There's a gentleman explaining things to us. What I love the most is this. It's the real on-the-spot U-turns. It really turns right on the spot. A little thing to know is that if you stop, you don't touch the brake or anything like that. There's a little beep, like in the hospital, to remind you, don't forget, you're not on the brake or anything like that. And same thing, even if I let go and I'm in D, it means I can still accelerate. Because I can accelerate while I have the handbrake on, since it's a front-wheel drive, and I have the handbrake. I just shouldn't forget it, so that's what we have. On the flip side, it's a shame for the youth. We'll feel it as the car settles down and something's off. It can be fun. I love that perspective. A Mario Kart kind of thing. It's so funny. So here, I'm on a little path. It's pretty rough. Fortunately, there's at least a little suspension to make it at least somewhat comfortable. And turning around. Now that's really cool. Watch out for the bag. But we can have fun. It's true that putting a handbrake like this is actually pretty funny. And I can still go pretty fast. You have to be careful in the turns, not to do anything reckless. And there, I can slow down. And now. I love Nicholas. Such a big kid. Normally, that's not the most recommended thing to do with this car. But you can do it. We're young and dumb, so there's not much risk in doing this. It's quite amusing. It grips the road surprisingly well. Even here, you can see a bit on the gravel and stuff. Honestly, there's really not much risk, but there's still enough to have some fun. That little fun side, we've all done it with bikes, handbrakes. Well, not handbrakes, but those little skids and everything. Well, me, I'm always that type, really. Ha ha ha, come on, I'll stop messing around. Oops, no, I'm just kidding. How fast do you think we can go in reverse? No, I forgot, it's limited to 13 kilometers per hour. Well, on the other hand, I can really see what's happening behind me very, very easily. And that's pretty cool because when it comes to rear view, I'm the one doing the looking back. And now, if I want to turn around, it turns just as well. And I can really do ultra-precise maneuvers. Anyway, no. Can it fit through there or not? It fits. No. But that's crazy. Honestly, it's still super cool. I'm out. The car had about 60 kilometers. I think it had 58 kilometers. It was brand new. I'm going to try to take a little ride like this. See you soon for the debrief. So, what's our final verdict on the new Citroën Ami? Well, honestly, there hasn't been a lot of change. It's the same as before. It's just been restyled. A little bit of design on the wheels. The front, the back. A bit of extra decoration. It retains the same features as before. Identical battery, motors, and 45 kilometers per hour top speed. By the way, to recharge. It was right there, even though I didn't show it to you. They still haven't put the reel on. That's a bit of a shame. Well, you have the big plug, so you can charge directly at home, in the garage, on the coffee maker. Just use a little extension cord, 1800 watts. In any case, it'll work fine. And what's great is that you can close the door right over it, because they've made sure it can fit through here. It's all plastic, so it'll work. But I must admit, a little roller would have been nice. Honestly, I would have preferred paying 20 euros more for the car to have a roller here, because right now, storing it like this. When it's raining and all, well, you can do it from inside the car. But you have to leave the door open. That's maybe the little thing I would have liked to have. There. You see, it's still a little bit laborious. Well, you don't recharge every day, but still. By the way, if you have a Citroën Ami, are you going to switch to this new one? And by the way, if you had a Citroën Ami, could you tell me how many kilometers you did almost every day or every week with it? It would be interesting to know if the range was actually useful in the end. Or is it a little complicated? Or is it just enough? Or is it more than enough? We often live close to middle or high schools, and as adults, frequently drive in the city. Driving 60 kilometers in the city per day at 45 kilometers per hour is still very rare. Let me know if you have any questions. New facelift, still just as fun. The buggy version is still great. Maybe I'll make a video about it for you sometime. In Le Touquet, it will be slightly warmer than today. If you enjoyed this brief video, consider subscribing. And then I'll see you soon for another video. Bye.